The Genius Club with Prairie Pine. Chapter 12. Science. Breathable yet water-locking. Isn't this just moisturizer? MX Company was a beauty company. Although Alex worked in the design department, he had a basic understanding of cosmetics and skincare products. Women had 3 primary needs for skincare products: whitening, anti-wrinkle, and moisturizing. Nowadays, no moisturizing products on the market could achieve absolute, long-lasting moisturization. For optimal moisturizing effects during makeup application, one typically had to apply multiple layers of skincare products. A layer of essence water, a layer of lotion, and a layer of moisturizer. Not only was this tedious and heavy, but it also felt uncomfortable on the skin. On the other hand, the chemical compound developed by Professor Hughes perfectly addressed many of the flaws in current moisturizer products with its unique properties. Thus, in the moisturizing skincare sector, a new type of moisturizer using this compound would undoubtedly dominate the market. Wouldn't it sell like hotcakes? I see now, Alex said slowly. If we can secure the right to use this chemical compound and launch it as the first product under our new Rhine brand, it will definitely disrupt the entire skincare market. At the very least, will be unparalleled in the moisturizing segment. Exactly, Emma nodded. Nowadays, major beauty companies around the world have offered Professor Hughes exorbitant prices. Many have even proposed licensing fees in the millions of US dollars. Gasp. Alex drew in a sharp breath. Millions of US dollars. Just for the licensing fee. That was absurd. But as someone in the cosmetics industry, Alex knew perfectly well that Professor Hughes's discovery was absolutely worth that price. Securing exclusive rights would essentially sentence all other brands' moisturizing products to death, enough to monopolize the entire moisturizing market. In fact, MX Company has offered even better terms, Emma said, with a bitter smile. But Professor Hughes completely ignores us. The good news is, he ignores all other companies too, so we still have a chance. Come on, Alex. Let's go greet Professor Hughes. Alex adjusted his suit slightly, took a deep breath, and followed Emma toward the corner where Professor Hughes was standing. Alex picked up a wine glass and followed Emma to the corner of the hall. When Professor Hughes saw Emma approaching, he turned around and tried to leave. Professor Hughes, long time no see. Emma stepped forward with a smile to greet him. Professor Hughes turned back, forcing an awkward smile. Congratulations. Emma raised her red wine glass, offering a toast. Your research achievement is an epoch-making invention. I believe that as long as it's applied in the right field, it will surely realize its true value. However, Professor Hughes did not clink glasses with her. He lowered his head and chuckled self-deprecatingly. You mean that ridiculous failure? I've already endured enough ridicule for it. No, Professor Hughes, I don't think it's a failure. You should cherish your research, Ms. Emma. Professor Hughes raised his hand to cut her off. He looked up, his expression serious. Ms. Emma, I'm glad to see you here today. If you're here to donate funds to scientific causes, I'll drink with you as much as you like. But if you're here for any other purpose, I'm sorry, but I can't accommodate you. The atmosphere turned awkward in an instant. Alex stood aside silently, watching the interaction between the two, not daring to interrupt casually. Alex narrowed his eyes. It was clear that Professor Hughes was not welcoming to Emma. He even resented contact with these beauty companies. You flatter me, Professor Hughes. Let's keep things separate. Emma maintained her smile. Today, I'm here solely to support scientific undertakings and research. Nothing more. That's a relief. Then on behalf of all researchers in East Sea City, I thank you, Miss Emma. Professor Hughes held out his glass for a toast. Emma deliberately lowered hers slightly. Clink. After the toast, they drained their glasses in one go. Professor Hughes set down his glass and looked at Emma. Miss Emma, I hope to see you more at events like this, rather than in my laboratory. With that, he turned and left. Emma took out a white handkerchief, dabbed the corner of her mouth to remove the red wine stain. See, Alex? He's always this way with us. Today was actually better than usual. Alex nodded. He had had little contact with Emma before, barely exchanging a word with her. He had always thought she was arrogant and condescending wherever she went. But now he realized she had her own difficulties too. She also had to smile obsequiously at Professor Hughes and bend down to beg for a toast. Still, there was no other way. The company needed to develop, and the people below needed to make a living. Emma was only 23 years old. She had returned from studying abroad less than 2 years ago, and had already built the company to its current scale. She must have had a good family background and financial support. Alex just couldn't understand why strike out on her own when she could have enjoyed the fruits of her family's business and waited to take over. Few people in the company knew the answer to this. Emma must have her own troubles and reasons. Professor Hughes must be short of research funds and experimental equipment. Why is he unwilling to exchange that so-called failure for money? Alex was confused. With financial support, he could establish his own laboratory, conduct research under better conditions, and maybe even make a real breakthrough. Emma put down her handkerchief and smiled helplessly. That's probably the pride and stubbornness of a scientist. He's failed for too long, been ridiculed for too long. He can't accept selling his failure and having it spread all over the world. That accidentally discovered chemical compound is a treasure in our eyes, but in Professor Hughes's eyes, it might be a shameful scar, a source of agony every time it's mentioned. Emma set down her glass, crossed her arms, and looked at Alex. You're also a graduate of EC University. Can you help me think of a way? Me? Alex was stunned. What made him qualified for this task? Even you elites and business tycoons get brushed off by Professor Hughes. How could a small team leader like me, someone he'd probably see as a novice, land this big deal? I'll look into it. Alex could only reply. He finally understood why Emma had brought him to this dinner party. She probably thought that as fellow alumni he might be able to connect with Professor Hughes somehow. But she was drastically overestimating him. Perhaps his outstanding performance on the Rhinecat project had led Emma to a deep misunderstanding of his actual abilities. But that cat was copied from his dream. Could he possibly copy Professor Hughes's research achievement from his dream too?